Hi and welcome to another edition of The Tracker here on Citi TV. Today's show is in two parts. Now, the first part will be about the Black Stars and about their upcoming World Cup playoff against Nigeria. In the second part, we have an exclusive interview with Ghana's first ever athlete at the Winter Olympics. His name is Kwame Nkrumah Champon. He will be telling us about exactly how he got into winter sports, what fueled him, what his ambitions were, and if he feels fulfilled by what he's been able to go through. But before we get into any of that, we are in very unprecedented times as far as the national team is concerned. For the first time since I started doing the tracker, a national team game is about to happen, and I have no idea who is making that team. Perhaps I might have to go with my producer to set up camp at the Kotoka International Airport and then quietly glimpse whoever is coming in so I take down the name. Or maybe go and perhaps camp at the team hotel and see who's coming. The reality on the ground is that nobody except the FA president and his internal circle know who is making the squad. Well, some players are in town already, so we have an idea of who is in town so far and who isn't. But minus that, it's all up in the air. We know that the team is supposed to start camping from tomorrow, I believe. They're supposed to be heading towards Kumasi, and then the game itself will come off on Friday at 7:30 p.m. So what's going to happen today on the show is that my guest and I will be attempting to piece together the Black Star squad bit by bit, especially the starting 11 who will be making that team. And so I'll be introducing my guest, Samuel Ziga, is a sports journalist and also publicist for Thomas Partey. He will be helping me to piece together this Black Star squad today as we go along. Let's take a quick break here. When we come back, we'll get the conversation today underway. Welcome back to the tracker here on Citi TV. Agenda Black Stars. It's a mystery squad. That's what I call it. It's a mystery squad because I don't know what the squad is. I don't know who's making the squad. We've been asked to get a short code to buy tickets online. But, I mean, how are you buying tickets online for a team where you don't know who's representing you? How are these things even happening? So, in the past 2 hours, let me tell you what I've been doing the last 2 hours before the show. The FA announced that the technical team led by Otoado and Chris Hughton would be addressing Ghanaians, state of the nation. This time, Black Stars edition. They will be addressing Ghanaians on the squad that is to be released. But it will only going to be exclusively via the GFA's app. Now, I'll tell you what. I set up tents on the GFA app for the last 2 hours. Only to be told at 10 o'clock that the app, the squad announcement has started. And it was for free. I opened my app. I clicked on the video button and just sat back and waited. Loaded, 10 minutes, nothing. Loaded, 50 minutes, nothing. Loaded, 20 minutes, nothing. 30 minutes, nothing. No squad announcement via the app like the FA said. Now, mind you, the initial announcement for the app was slated to be at 8:30. Didn't happen. 10, didn't happen. Before we knew, 2-minute videos of Otoado and Chris Hughton had been released onto YouTube, where Otoado is not announcing the squad, but he's telling us to be in high spirits and telling us that he is feeling great heading into the game. Sam Ziga is here. Sam, good to have you on the show.
Good to be here, Ben.
we are in very unique times because, like I'm saying, since I joined this profession, it's been almost 10 years. I don't remember a time where it was less than 7 days to a Ghana game. I don't like the smile on your face. I don't remember a time where it was less than 7 days to a game and we don't have any names to work with. We have no list to work with. But I have heard of players that are on the standby list. What have you made of that whole episode? Not announcing the squad. ESCO member saying that Ghana is supposed to use this as an element of surprise for our opponents.
Ben, very unusual from the FA. Since I started this particular profession, like you rightly mentioned, I've not seen or encountered anything like this. And, I understand the frustration out there, even from the fans. I've received a lot of calls from people who know maybe I know one or two things about the collapse and stuff like that. But it's quite unfortunate that I've got no information for them, and it's so with so many journalists out there. I understand the frustration, and it's really a lamenting situation because well, it's unusual. Black Star squad should be out a week or a few days to arrival of these players. I don't know what went into their thinking to surprise the nation as a whole, or even our opponents.
I mean, the FA spokesperson officially did say that this is to protect players from social media backlash, especially. A reason I'm not buying personally, but that's what he says.
Well, it's quite strange to have that as a reason. But of course, you would always know that the Black Stars have had a lot of backlash in recent days, especially after what happened at the AFCON. So you wouldn't want to heighten the tension in situations of this nature. Maybe that's what they are trying to prevent in their own small way or in their own wisdom, thinking that could have helped the situation. But what transpired this morning has actually made the situation really murky.
Very murky.
Whoever took that decision to stream the call-up live on the app, I think it's a wrong move. I have to be brutally honest. Very wrong move. This is something that every other individual should be privy to. The ordinary market woman or the ordinary student out there who has interest in the Black Stars should have access to. So if you want to monopolize it, for the use of a better word,
that is the word.
I think it's really, really sad and very bad for our football, especially looking at the situation in which we find ourselves. The Black Stars are trying to win back the love. From what happened at the AFCON, not a lot of people are actually showing the love to the Black Stars. So there are things that should be done to get the people closer to the Black Stars or to win that love back. And this is obviously not one of the ways. To make things seem so far away from them, it's really, really bad and poor. But hey, on the flip side, I look at it and I see some sort of blessing in it. With my interaction with most of the players, they seem a bit relieved that the squad is not out. Yes,
you're kidding, right?
Yeah, the squad is not out. That everything will be done in secrecy and in cool. With that, there's no pressure on them. They seem unbothered about whatever the narrative or the conversations will be about. And I think that in some or to some extent, we have to also look at that and be happy, because if players are happy and comfortable and have the sound mind, then it means they'll deliver. That's what matters most to me. If the players would deliver, regardless of all the shenanigans that has gone on, well, I'll buy that. I'll buy that. If Ghana would go to the World Cup after all this debacle and all these, well, it sounds good to me. I'll feel very good for Ghana to actually qualify to the World Cup. But in the case that it backfires, that is where we're going to be hearing things. The blame game will continue, and
we'll begin to hear all kinds of reasons why the squad was not released.
Exactly, and those who took these decisions will look within themselves and say maybe we could have done it the other way around. So generally, well, the energy, to be honest, the energy is negative around this Black Star team. With this Ghana football app thing coming up also early this morning, I don't think it sounds good, because the ordinary market woman outside there is waiting to hear who is coming on board. And it's now, I mean, it's a situation where people are going to pitch camp at the airport to wait for players to come for them to see them.
Are calling each other, asking them, have you heard if this person is in? Let's put on record the players we know are in camp so far or have arrived so far. So the word officially is that Jojo Wallacott is in town, plays for Swindon Town. Richard Ofori is in town. He missed the AFCON with an injury. We hear that he's also around. And then we are hearing that Baba Idrisu has also arrived in camp. And so these three we know so far in town. Do we know if anybody else is in town? So Baba Idrisu, Wallacott, Ofori,
and
that's three. And the Yadom is in town as well. So we know these four are in town so far as we speak. Well, what we are going to do next, Sam and I, is to attempt to piece together what will look like the Ghana squad based on the information that we have. Let's start. Goalkeeping department. Sam, who makes the goalkeeping department for Ghana versus Nigeria first leg?
I'll pick Richard Ofori.
You pick Richard Ofori?
He walks in straight into the number one slot again, regardless of the fact that he has not been competitive over the past month, but he's played 2 games already, and that should be enough.
You think Otoado picks Ofori too?
Yeah, I think so.
You think Otoado goes for Ofori?
Exactly. I think
okay. Sam says that Otoado goes with Ofori. He goes with Ofori. I will personally go with Ofori, but I think that Otoado will go with Jojo Wollacott. This is what I think. Let's see how that plays out. I strongly feel that Otoado goes with Jojo Wollacott. I'm not saying that that's what it will be, but I think Otoado will pick Jojo Wollacott ahead of Ofori, purely because Ofori has been inactive for a while. Right back. Who makes the right back slot for this game? Sam?
Which options do we have?
You mean we don't have any option anywhere?
Andy Adam.
Andy Adam makes the squad again?
Yeah, obviously.
Wow.
Obviously.
Honest opinion. Watching Andy Adam during the qualifiers, watching him up close during the AFCON, I don't think he's good enough for the national team. I don't know if it's a bad spell of form that he's hit in the last 6 months, but during the AFCON, in fact, he actually looked injured when he was playing during the AFCON. And reports were that he was asking the coach not to place him in the lineup for that third game against, I believe it was the Comoros Islands. But in the end, he was played in that game. In the end, he wasn't good enough. Ghana was eliminated. It wasn't solely down to his efforts. But if you ask me, Andy Adam should not be Ghana's first choice right back at this point. But like Sam rightly pointed out, he's the one we know is in town. We don't know if any other right back is in town. So it looks like Andy Adam gets the right back slot. Let's get to... so that's what you have there. These are some of the foreign-based players who have been called up in recent times. So you have there Ofori, Iyadom, Jiku, Amate, Babaraman. Babaraman is not coming. He has an injury. We do hear that he will be in camp. We don't know if he will play. He actually does have an injury. In the middle, we have Baba Idrisu, Mohamed Kudus. We don't know if Kudus is coming. We don't know if he's coming. I'm hearing that Kudus has been itching to play in this game. But because I don't have a squad, I don't know if Kudus is coming. There's that. Kamaldeen Sulemana definitely won't be making this squad. He's injured. He has a back injury. Jordan Ayew, I'm hearing, has caught COVID-19. And so it looks like this will be an unlikely trip for Jordan, at least for the first leg. So there's that as well. Thomas Partey definitely will join the camp. We know that he will be coming down. I mean, if you are to name 10 Black Stars players off the top of your head that will make this squad, he's definitely in there, so we're not worried about him. So that's a few of the names there. So let's get back to predicting. Yes, let's get back to predicting. Let's go to the centre half pairing. I've heard, a bird has whispered in my ears that the new technical team believe that Joseph Edu is a formidable defender, and so he is expected to be in this squad. If he is expected to be in the squad and he's indeed coming, Joseph Edu starts for me in my book. Sam, does he start?
Yeah, he starts for me, surely. He's been fantastic for Celta Vigo in the past months, and I don't see any other Ghanaian centre-back who has performed above, Joseph Edu worldwide. So
Joseph Edu starts.
He gets in there for me.
I think Joseph Edu will be paired with Jiku or Amate, which is only smart. That's if the players that we think are coming are coming.
I'll go with Joseph Edu and Daniel Amate.
Yeah. Okay, I would prefer Amate and Edu as well. But I wouldn't mind Jiku either for Amate. I think for me, it's either which way.
I think that's a
doesn't really matter for me.
Pretty solid, the centre-back department. That's a department we have loads of talent.
Sport for choice in that department. Let's talk about left back, because we know that Baba Rahman is not coming down. Somebody told me that it's good Baba Rahman is not coming because Baba Rahman and Andy Adam at Reading have supervised over one of the worst defenses in Europe this season. And that's not speculation. Yeah. Numbers don't lie. Reading were shipping in an average of 3 goals per weekend with Baba Rahman and Andy Adam at the fullback position. So Baba Rahman is not coming. He's injured. Gideon Mensah will be coming. I'm not sure if we called in a substitute left back.
I'm hearing Dennis Korsov Hatsufuk.
Dennis Korsov Hatsufuk.
Formidable player.
I will be delighted if Dennis gets a call, because I don't think this is a situation of a quota system working. I think Dennis actually has merited it, especially absolutely. In the circumstance of what is happening. So I expect that Gideon Mensah starts this game.
Yeah,
Gideon Mensah starts.
I'll go with that as well.
Okay, so we have managed to construct a back four with a goalkeeper. Sam says he's going with Richard Ofori. I agree with Ofori starting, but I say that I think Otuado will start with Jojo Wallacott. So Ofori Wallacott is split here. For fullbacks, Andy Adam starts, we agree. We are trying to construct the Ghana team, so follow us. Joseph Edu and also Daniel Amate in defense, stroke Jiku, possible, substituted. Left back, we have Gideon Mensah making the start. Let's go into the midfield. 4-3-3. So we are doing a 4-3-3 here. We are picking a defensive midfielder or an anchor man. I say that Baba Idrisu starts. He's in town. He's my pick to start in DM. Sam?
In DM, how do you want to describe that as a DM, but like a pivot?
Okay.
So I'll go with Thomas Partey.
Partey as a pivot?
Yes, as a pivot. Okay. And then flanked by Mohamed Kudus and Daniel Tre. So those three guys will make my midfield. Thomas Partey, Kudus, and Daniel Tre.
That midfield is tasty. It's tasty because Tre has scored 10 goals and has assisted 9 times for St. Pauli this season. Believe it or not. Look, ever since we came back from the AFCON, he's scored in literally every game he's played in for St. Pauli. Not even a joke. Literally every single game. If St. Pauli are top of the Bundesliga 2 or are knocking on the doors of promotion, it is purely down to the efforts of Daniel Kofi Tre. I want a midfield of Baba Idrisu, flanked by Thomas Partey and Kofi Tre. So I wouldn't have Mohamed Kudus in my midfield. I know what I want to do with Mohamed Kudus, so he should be in the freezer. He should wait. So Baba Idrisu as the anchor man or the pivot, Thomas Partey and Daniel Kofi Tre in the middle. That's my middle. Sam, let's go up front. So up front gets a little tricky. At left wing, there's no Kamaldeen Sulemana. He's injured. He has a back injury. We've not been told anything. So again, I want to assume that he will not be making it down here to the squad. Who fits in at left wing for you?
Joseph Pinto, straight up.
Joseph Pinto. I think he had his strongest game at the AFCON playing on the left-hand side. That was the first game as well. I definitely will pick Joseph Pinto to go on the left wing. That's his favorite position. Likes to cut onto his right-hand side. That definitely is his strongest position.
He's got eyes for goals as well.
Yeah, that's definitely his strongest position. Pinto starts on left. Right wing. Who's your right winger?
Oh, that's quite tricky.
What are our options there for starters?
Okay, so there's Yaya Boa.
Yep. Yes. So we are hearing that Yaya Boa is one of those who has made the squad as well. Plays for Columbus Crew these days.
In the USA. So Yaya Boa walks straight into that side. In the absence of Yaya Boa, what options have we got?
Maybe Sahaku.
Okay, sure. I mean,
if he's getting an invitation.
So at the AFCON, he played in the final game against Comoros on the left side.
Samuel has also debuted
so
there.
I think that Yaya Boa stroke Fatawi Shahaku.
JC doesn't get a look in.
I'll play JC through the middle.
Through the middle, okay. So Fatau Isahaku, Yaya Boa. I sort of think Fatau Isahaku might just be dropped for Yaya Boa because of experience. I'm not sure how, but if I'm going with it, I'm going with Yaya Boa as my right winger to start. And then on left, like we said, Joseph Pinto. Now, no Andre Ayew due to suspension. It looks like no Jordan due to COVID. Yeah. Who plays in the middle? I will answer this for you starters. I say I go with Mohamed Kudus as a false 9. He can play as a central midfielder. He can play as an attacking midfielder. He can play as a right winger. He can play as a left winger. But he also has eyes for goal. And so I say that I play with Mohamed Kudus. He will be very, very hard to mark. He will be very hard to pin down by the opponents. Confuse your opponents. That's the kind of move you make. Play Kudus as a false 9. Sam, you put Kudus as in your middle, so you can't put him as on top.
Obviously.
Who plays on top for you?
I mentioned Jesse on top for me.
Yeah,
Spence, yeah. Jesse, he's someone who knows the front line pretty well, knows how to navigate his way through the left, right, and through the center. We've seen him score some fantastic goals in the Serie A, and I wouldn't be surprised that he could fit in really well through the middle. In the absence of Emmanuel JC, I'll go with Felix Afenajan. I'm told he would make it.
He will make it finally?
Yeah, I'm told he would make it. That's if he makes it. I'll go with Felix Afenajan as well. A fantastic chap, very confident. Forget about the experience. You know.
So he's confident.
Very confident.
If you are not confident, Jose Mourinho is not putting you in his lineup.
Exactly. Someone who plays in the Italian Serie A should be fit enough to play in such a derby game on the African continent.
Yeah, what, 17 years?
Yeah, 18.
17, 18.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So I'll go with Felix
Afenaja to the middle. Okay, so Sam says Felix to the middle. I say Mohamed Kudus as a false nine. So there you have your starting 11. Let me give Sam a chance to talk about any other player. I'm also getting some reports that Edmond Addo of Sheriff Tiraspol is also in town and will be in this Black Stars team. So Edmond Addo, a.k.a. Addo Skillful, is in town. Let's look out for him there. Sam, who are the players that we haven't mentioned that you possibly think? We're not saying they've made it or they're coming down, but if you think that the coaches are looking at every possible corner for talent, should be coming down for this game.
A player like Osman Bukhari, who plays in France for Nantes, he's been fantastic this season. You watch him, he's been very good on the left flanks. And I look around and I say, look, Ghana, we're blessed with players with similar skill sets. Certain Kamaldeen Suleiman, Osman Bukhari, Joseph Bento. And Osman Bukhari is no new to the system. We watched him during Ibrahim Tanko's under 23. And he was fantastic for that particular team. He has taken his form into the club side as well, made a switch, to the French league, and he's been brilliant over there. So Osman Bukhari, obviously one of the picks. Also, you look at a player like Antoine Semenon.
I hear Antoine Semenon is injured.
Bristol City, yes, but
I hear he picked up an injury 6 minutes into the game yesterday.
Very, very bad, because this is a player who knows how to use both feet. And he's got an eye for goals. Someone who actually knows what he wants as an attacker. Actually, he's someone we've been missing for some time now. A very lethal attacker, someone who knows how to run into spaces, get into very comfortable situations where goal scoring is easier than fluffing your line. So Antoine Semenon also comes on top of my mind. Then you look at a player like Leroy Owusu in the Netherlands, a right back. Can also play as a left wing back.
If Leroy Owusu is, and I think he starts a right back for me over Andy Adam. I definitely think
that'll be really tight, but let's see how it pans out there. He's also one guy who deserves a mention. Fantastic player, can be very explosive, badges for it. He isn't scared to take on fullbacks. That's one side we would need in our game against Nigeria, obviously on any day.
Well, let me tell you who I expect to make the squad, and then I will leave you with a message from technical director or technical advisor to the Ghanaian interim coaches, Chris Hughton. So I expect, if we are serious about this game, I think Atama should come in just for his versatility alone. He's been playing consistent minutes for his club, can play as a DM, can play as a centre back, can play as a right back as well. Yes, I'd invite Atama into this team. I'd invite Caleb Ekuban into this team. He's a powerful striker for me. I think his appearances to goals ratio when he's playing for the Black Stars is commendable. Doesn't get a lot of opportunities, but does very well when he plays. I'd definitely bring Boakye Adom back into this team, because we spoke about him not playing enough, not scoring enough. He was in the game against Comoros less than 5 minutes, and he made his impact felt. Once a good goal poacher, always a good goal poacher. So Boakye for me would make it. Ekuban would make it if I had a chance. Spezia's Emmanuel Jesse would definitely make it if I had a chance. Leroy also would make it if I had a chance as well. I think that's about it. So we've basically covered all the bases. Joseph Edu is in there. I'll bring in Harrison Affo just for shaggy reasons.
I always forgot his name.
If I had a chance. So that's the word so far. We've attempted to predict the Black Stars squad. I will leave you with a message from Chris Hughton. When that message is done and when we come back from the break, we'll get into my interview with the Snow Leopard, also known as Kwame Nkrumah Echampong, Ghana's first ever Winter Olympic athlete. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Chris Hughton, the technical advisor to the Black Stars. As part of the build-up, I would like to urge Ghanaians to remain calm and positive about the team, because we strongly believe we have the quality, desire and hunger to achieve the results that we want. It is our aim to qualify for the Qatar World Cup, and we all have a duty to make that dream a reality. Ghana have done it before, and we can guarantee you that everybody associated with the Black Stars wants this opportunity again to perform on a world stage. This moment presents an opportunity to write history, and we are all committed to it, from the players, the technical staff, the Ghana Football Association and the government. We value your support. We are Ghana and we are ready.
Well, this doesn't happen very often on the tracker. We are talking winter sports. Yeah, I'm sure you are surprised we are talking winter sports, but every now and then you get the very interesting interview. And this man here has probably defied the odds in a sport that is dominated by whites, if I should put it that way. My guest is Kwame Nkrumah. He has been competing at the Winter Olympics since 2010. We're about to find out a few interesting things about him, how he got there, the challenges, and how he's emerged from all of that as a person. Kwame, it's good to have you on the tracker.
Thank you so much.
Let's first of all begin from who Kwame Nkrumah is, because I'm not sure it's a name a lot of Ghanaians are familiar with, because we barely ever follow winter sports and that's obvious. Yeah. But who is Kwame?
Well, I'm simple, not too complicated. Yeah. I love working, and I've always loved sports. So from my days in secondary school in Cape Coast all the way to UCC, I was a sportsman. I represented Ghana twice at the West African Games for universities.
Which is it's not All African Games, but
West African Games for universities. So I did a bit of running 4x100, volleyball, lawn tennis, and all that kind of stuff. And then I moved back to UK to study my master's degree. Okay. And then I got into skiing, and then it just kind of ballooned on from there into the Winter Olympics.
Interesting. Let's take a few steps back. I mean, you spoke about being an athlete of some sorts in your student days. At that point, had you ever conceived, winter sports at any point at all? No,
never. I always had a dream that I could make it to the Olympics. So I was doing more of track and field. Okay. And playing football. So when I went back to UK, I did get an invitation to train with Chelsea and Fulham, but I chose work instead of...
You're kidding. You need to go back on that a bit for me. How old were you then?
I think I was 22 or 24, I think.
So they offered you a chance at trials?
Yes, so I kind of walked into Chelsea. Okay. And I went to the front desk and I said I wanted to try out for the team.
You're kidding me? Yeah, just like that?
Yeah, because sometimes I always think you have to try something different. And the lady was like, how old are you? I mentioned my age and she was like, oh, you're too old for the academy. And there was a gentleman standing there and he just asked me, what country are you from? And I said, from Ghana. He told the lady, give him a form. Okay. And they gave me a date, but I didn't go.
Oh, interesting.
I was working, so I just could not get a time off. They would not give me a time off.
How did that feel for you? Didn't that feel like a dream dashed, or at least an opportunity that you didn't have a chance to explore?
I always say it's one of the worst decisions I made in my life. Because at that time, I think I was pretty good at football. I was pretty good.
Wow. That's interesting. Now, let's move on to where you developed your interest in winter sports, and then how it eventually culminated in you going to the 2010 Winter Olympics. Tell us about that. How did that all first even start off?
Yeah, I'd watched people skiing before. Okay. And ski racing, I always saw it, you'll see the tracker running the time and the kilometers per hour, and I just thought it was really exciting. So I got a job in an indoor ski center, started learning how to ski. Did a few indoor competitions, was not too bad. For a new beginner, I wasn't too bad. And somebody said, why don't you really enter into the ski racing thing and see what you can do? And then somebody told me that it would be impossible for me to be ever good at it and even compete at a higher level.
Why? Did he give you any reasons?
The thing is, when you're from Black Africa, people just believe that some things
are just not for you.
Yes. So I told him that, look, skiing, anybody can do it. It's just mindset. Yeah.
And then from there, how did it progress? Because clearly, if you want to try your hands at this, you need to have at least some level of coaching. You need to have some equipment. You need to, and also have a place to actually practice this stuff. Tell us about that.
Well, I went to a ski show in London, and that's where I met my first sponsor.
Okay.
And the sponsor said, well, if we take you to France, or if you can get to France, and we take you onto a real mountain, and we try you out, and you don't have one fall, we'll give you a sponsorship deal. So the deal was, I got to go to the top of Val d'Isère and ski all the way down to the bottom without falling. And
at this point, had you had some practice time on your own?
Oh yeah, I'd been practicing, but I'd never ever been out on a mountain, real mountain. I've been doing this indoor 100-meter kind of thing or less, and it was the first big challenge I had because.
Wait, hold on a second. How's the indoor simulation like? Like, what's that like?
It's cold. It's real snow made out of water, and it's just like frozen ice crystals, but
it's just in an indoor auditorium kind of.
Yes, and you feel safer because everything is measured. You know, you can see the walls left to right. Yeah. But on a mountain, there's a drop here, there's this, there's that. And I had to follow a former Winter Olympian down the hill. Okay. So basically, I had to match his speed and chase him down.
Interesting. Now, like you said, you've been to the skiing show. You've been promised a deal if you can actually get your stuff going without any errors. How did that go?
It went well. I managed to ski all the way down. And
that was the first time on an actual mountain?
First time.
Wow.
And then the chap was asked if he thought I could ever get to the Olympics. And I was like, well, if this is my first time, with a bit of effort and training, he believes I can do it. And then I got the first ever sponsorship I had.
How old were you then?
I think then either 25 or so, or 27.
So I want to believe at this point, unlike the football situation, you had maybe quit your job and decided to go into this full time?
Well, I didn't quit my job at that time. I took a period off just to go and do the trial. So when I got back to UK, that is when I had to take the decision. Do you actually go in full on, or you sit back and try and see if you can work and do it? But I decided, quit the job. I've had one error in sports before where I didn't take a decision. So I took this decision. I said, okay, I'm going to quit my job, focus full time, and try and chase sponsorship as well as, training. So that's what I started doing full time. Okay.
So now you've gotten somebody who's convinced that you can actually make a push with this. Tell us about possible challenges, right? I mean, for you yourself, at this point, is your mind screaming, okay, I'm going to go to the Olympics, or is your mind screaming, can I really do this? Like, did you have internal challenges? Did you have external challenges? Talk to us about that.
I say mentally, it was a question of, can I actually do it? It's not like you will do it, because getting into the real thing, I realized it was really difficult. The cold, the training, the bad snow days, you're outside, the traveling, especially the funding. So it was a case of, do you think you can do it? Are you willing to put the necessary effort? And to get to the Olympics, it's not just about training. It's all the other things that go around it, the managing yourself, managing your travel and all that. So those were the challenges. External challenges were people. I mean, the first time I went to a race in France, I was actually asked when I was at the top. Somebody came to one of the races and said, what are you doing here? And I said, oh, me too, I'm here to do it. I said I should look what is going on. People are crashing and having accidents. Am I really sure I want to do that? And I was like, I'm also here to also try my hands. I was the last racer to go because I didn't have any points on the system of points. So I managed to complete, and then the same guy came back and shook my hand.
Wow.
And said, well done. So you get all those kind of challenges,
I mean, at this point, have you garnered any self-belief that, okay, I really can go to the Olympics? Did you have to even make a certain time to actually qualify?
Yes, you have a qualification mark you have to make. But that was so far down the line because I started, I think I had 2 years before the Olympics were due.
Oh.
So usually you have a 4-year gap from one Olympics to the other. But I was somewhere in the middle, and I was like pushing to get there quickly. So it was tough. It wasn't easy.
Wow. Now you are basically at the brink of the 2010 Winter Olympics. What sort of preparation did you get through, or when did you even get your confirmation that, okay, you've made the set criteria, you can compete? When did you get that? what sort of preparation did you have to actually do to go into the competition itself?
I got my qualification mark sent to me after my race in Iran. I went to Iran, did a race in Iran, got back to UK, and the message came that it looks like you've qualified. So if you want to come to the Olympics, you see your Olympic body in Ghana, let them do all the necessary paperwork. Funny enough, the paperwork had already been sent to the Ghana Olympic Committee. Okay. So I had to fly back here. But when I got here, somebody had thrown it away.
You're kidding me?
Yeah, because...
Winter Olympics
to...
What does he mean?
So somebody put it somewhere.
Wow.
So I wrote back to the Olympic body that I came and they can't find any other document. So they told me that, look, we'll send it to you directly. Okay. Then you carry it and get everything done. At that time, I had to double up my training because... people have been training for a very long time. They have better training facilities. So I had to do a thing of, if somebody's training for 5 hours, I have to train for 10, so I can get the extra time. Yes.
Interesting. So now you get clearance from the Ghana Olympic Committee, I'm guessing.
It was more from the World Olympic.
And then they had to just ratify it more like. Yeah. Okay, that has happened. You are going into the competition. How excited are you? What are your objectives and ambitions? Because you have clearly not been there before. You're going to compete with guys who have probably won medals and stuff like that. What's your mentality like going there? Is it to compete for honors or to just participate and fulfill a dream?
Well, I was asked the same question before the Olympics, and I said the only thing I'm aiming for is I won't be last. Okay. Somebody else has to be last. I don't want to be last. I knew I could not win a medal, impossible, because some of these guys started training from when they were 4 years old.
Wow.
And this is their life, they live it. I have just learned the lifestyle. Sometimes you see people or athletes go to competitions and they freeze. Yeah. It's true, because I've gone to a world championship. That was my first major event. My friend, I froze. But that experience taught me a lot. It made me understand how to, I would say, absorb the stress and the pressure of the Olympics. Because, look, the Olympics to me, getting there was like you're going for an operation, you don't know if you will die or you survive. And the day before we were going into the opening ceremony, there was so much media hype that on opening ceremony day, the moment the Ghana squad came out, the whole stadium just erupted. Wow. So the stress, you have to learn how to take care of the stress. So you do need a team around you that can help you manage that stress.
Now, I believe that at the Winter Olympics, you are probably Ghana's only representative.
Yes, only one, just me. It's been 1-1-1, like how you get, what's it called? Mr. Frimpong.
Akwesi Frimpong, yeah.
Akwesi Frimpong, one. Then you have this new chap, only one. If Akwesi Frimpong had not been hit by COVID, would have had 2. Then the hope is that next time you have 3, then 4, then 5, then it starts growing.
I mean, that just leads me to ask you, I mean, how well did you do at that Olympics, and how do you think your career went overall in terms of if you did a sit down to evaluate your winter sports career, how do you think it went overall?
I'll say I think I hit all the target markers I wanted. I wanted to qualify for the Olympics and show that it can be done. Yeah, it was a novelty at that time, but then it turned serious. During a press conference, they asked me, what position are you going to come? And I said, look, I don't want to be last. Yeah. That was achieved. Yeah. I think I could have skied faster, but my coach told me this. There's no point in you falling down because all of us have suffered to get here. If you ski the way you want to ski, out of 102, only 54 survived. Wow. And he said, look, the world champion has crashed. So why not just stay inside? Yeah. Don't do your madness. Finish so that we all will be happy. Yeah. So my manager, when I got the bottle, my manager was crying. And I asked him why. He said, oh, he's just happy that we've completed and we can go. But if I'd fallen down, it would have been a miserable thing. So I think we hit all our target markers. That's what we did.
When does a winter athlete decide that it's time to call it quits?
I think when your body starts telling you it's tired, then also your pocket also starts telling you that I am broke. So you look at those two things. After my Winter Olympics,
you didn't have a sponsor then? You didn't have a sponsor throughout your career?
When I started, I didn't have sponsors. Okay. When I got first sponsor, I had the sponsors that come in. Okay. Yes, you can get sponsors, But to keep sponsors, you have to work hard. You have to give sponsors a reason to sponsor you. That's what athletes and sports people maybe don't understand in Ghana. It's not just about, oh, come, Coca-Cola will sponsor you. No, Coca-Cola
What
wants...
value are you offering them?
Yes.
Exactly.
That value creation is a whole job. You need even like an administrative body doing that. And I was doing that. So I sleep around 2, 3 in the morning because I'm doing all the sponsorship work for them, doing the web promos and...
You're kidding me.
Oh yes,
so you're your own marketing manager.
Yep. I did a lot of the marketing myself. I created events for the sponsors. So that's why some of my sponsors stayed with me for 4 years. I still have one sponsor who has sent me a message that they are a lifetime sponsor.
Oh wow.
They are not going to ever... Anytime I am...
doing anything concerning...
They will come.
Wow, that's amazing.
You get it? I was sponsored by Head for 3 years.
Okay.
For Head to sponsor you, you have to... I'm not world number one.
And they are big in the winter sports industry.
They sponsor the big nations.
Yeah.
So for Head to sponsor you, I think my equipment every season from Head was more than 15,000 euros.
Wow. So
you look at, if they're giving you 15,000 euros worth of equipment, they need to get something back. And that takes a lot of effort.
That's amazing to hear. So at this point, how long were you in there for?
7 years of training.
7 years of training.
Yes.
I mean, your career spanned 7 years.
7 years. Well, I'll say maybe about 8 years.
8 years.
Yes.
And then you decided that, well, let me just go back to my regular life.
Yes.
When you were transitioning out of that, did you have an idea of what you were going to do after you quit?
Yes, I had wanted to do lots of talks, inspirational talks, etc.
Okay.
But I wanted to also do business
Okay.
because my background for my education is I'm a leisure and tourism professional.
Yeah. Okay.
So I came back to Ghana. I lectured for I think over 5 years of lecturing, management and leisure and tourism management. But I also quit that because I wanted to focus more on the business side of things. I've always been an industrialist. I like seeing problems and solving them.
Now, at this time where you finished your career off, you are like transitioning back into regular civilian life, if I can put it that way.
True.
Were there some other Ghanaians who had like shown interest in also getting into ice sports, or had you made efforts to rope other people in and say, you know what, I've broken that glass ceiling. It's time to give other people the opportunity to dream that black people can actually do this?
Yeah. I tried twice. I took 2 young kids from Britain to Italy, and I think the first 2 days, the first one gave up.
Wow.
The whole steepness and the efforts they gave up. The second day, the other one, like, you can't do it, too much stress. If you are scared of heights, you are scared of speed.
It's not your thing.
Yes, you look down the slope and you just go like, you know what, take me back down. the fear factor is massive. Then I tried from Ghana, where I got 2 young people from Ghana. We did some tests, physical tests, etc. We got them a school in Italy for them to go to school. We got them accommodation. But we had problems at that time with the sports council. Somebody wouldn't sign the paperwork. So the tickets all went to waste. The insurance went to waste. Everything went to waste. All the accommodation, all the expenditure from the sponsors. Because at that time I was sponsored by EasyJet. Okay. So EasyJet was...
What was the reason for not sponsoring that or not signing off on that?
Take a wild guess.
I don't know.
The usual...
You weren't willing to grease certain palms and stuff like that. Interesting thoughts there. Talk to me about the likes of Akwesi Frimpong and the new breed of winter athletes we have who are Ghanaians. I mean, are you in touch with them? Do you talk to them? Do you offer them advice? What's your relationship like with them?
I think I've had some chats with Carlos Maida some time back when he was trying to qualify for the Olympics. So I told him, this is the process you can use to qualify. I think I have more contact with Akwesi Frimpong than Carlos Maida. And for me, it's just great to see them pushing. I think Akwesi Frimpong is the best we have at the moment when it comes to anybody in winter sports. And his sport, from my point of view, is super dangerous. But he rather tells me that mine is super dangerous, his own is safer. And I think the likes of us can be the ones to not just inspire a new generation, but to actually help them get to places where they can train, etc. Because we have been through the stress of breaking through, finding out how to do things. And one of the reasons I'm doing business at the moment is you need funding to make things happen.
Yeah.
So I told myself, do some business, create some entities that can produce money, and using that money, you can fund those little dreams to make things happen.
Talking about that, I mean, I hope that you haven't given up your efforts in trying to unearth new talent in Ghana. How is that? Have you thought about doing that? Have you thought about growing the interest of winter sports or ice sports in Ghana? How would that possibly go in if you have?
Well, I wanted to build a ski slope in Ghana, and I still want to build one.
Okay.
And to do that, it takes some money. Even to take someone to Italy now, you need a bit of money, even though I can get the sponsors on board. The only way to speed up such a transition is if you get the Olympic body of Ghana, the Sports Council working with you.
Okay.
Then the sponsors see that, okay, sponsors want to see that, okay, if I put some money in now, 6-7 years down the line, would I still be reaping something? So if they know that you got a program, they'll jump on board. Aggressive Frimpong is sponsored by a Ghanaian company. I think something gas or so. I was sponsored by a lot of European and foreign companies. Those guys tend to give you a lot of sponsorship. And if they find out that, look, I can easily bring Head to sponsor Ghana volleyball team, provided they see this progression. You understand? Okay, so where is the Ghana volleyball team going to? Would they go to All African Games? Or from All African Games, would they go to World Championship? The moment you can show them
a progression path, they'll be on board.
They'll jump on board.
So how far with that ski slope and the interest? I mean, have you made contact with some kids? And even if you're looking at grooming certain youngsters, what sort of demographic are you looking at?
For me, when I first tried it out, we decided that you want to get somebody who is hungry to succeed. Okay. Because I tried in quotes with the Dadaba type, and they came up there and like, no, I'm going back.
Yeah, I can't do this.
I can't do this.
Steep. I don't like heights. It's dangerous.
Exactly. Now, sports in Ghana is not treated really as a profession. It's like if you couldn't go to school, then you become a sportsman. I want a situation where if I say I'm choosing 2 kids, can you pay them? How much can you pay them? Maybe if you're paying them 3,000 to 5,000 Ghana cedis a month, their parents know that they are earning money. It's like now it's a profession. You understand? They're going to school as well, and they are doing that. To get there, you need money. You need to trigger the process, then sponsors come on board. So it's something that's still in the pipeline, but we need to fix some things first. Finance is always the biggest issue, always. Talent you can find on the streets of Ghana easily.
Talent you can always find. I like that. Talk to us again about, you've touched on it briefly, but talk to us about, let's say, recent contact with the sports industry, the NSA, the sports ministry. How much are they buying into your ideas now, especially since Akwesi Frimpong has also come after you? And I mean, we've had a couple more. How much are they buying into the concept now?
The last time I visited the Ghana Olympic body, I was told, why am I hiding myself? I should come on board. And I told the guy frankly that, look, my experiences with the organization just showed that it's better for me to do things on my own up to a point, because the red tape, the bureaucracy is just too much. You get it? If you look at our performance in sports, there's always too much controversy around the administration around our sports. So a sportsman gets to whatever competition and your mind is not even on that. Your mind is on quarreling over your per diem and unnecessary stuff. But you go to other countries like UK, United States, a sportsman on the track or wherever is
focused on
the
track.
Thing. Not little quarrels and all that kind of funny thing. Who is going to fly with the person and all those crazy things. So at the moment, unless really somebody from the Ghana Olympic Committee says, okay, you know what, we want you to come on board and help us get sponsorship for this, sponsorship for that. I'm kind of just watching sports in Ghana like any other spectator.
Now, you also did mention that you are sort of into the hospitality industry, and we hear that you have some projects that you're working on currently. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, coming back to Ghana, lecturing. I worked on some projects for some individuals. I've done some work for Starbites. I've done some for Silver Star, and I decided that create something yourself.
Yeah.
So our first product we are launching is called Inferno.
Okay.
It's a restaurant, and we're trying to play on my background of being in snow sports.
Okay.
This is the fire of cooking, etc. So we came up with the name Inferno. So the end of this month, we are launching Inferno. It's at North Legon. Okay. You'll be invited, so you come and have a feel of what we are doing. We are mostly like what we call meat masters, so we are serving kebabs, burgers, pizzas, and that kind of stuff, with a Ghanaian twist on it. So it's going to be a place that we say is hot, in terms of the food is hot, so it's spicy, and the atmosphere is also hot, in terms of the people are hot people.
That sounds like an idea. Just finally, before we go, just advice for sportsmen, especially those who are engaged in sports that isn't given that much prominence. What sort of advice would you give them?
I would say they need to keep doing what they are doing, but they need to start reaching out to foreign companies. Those companies, they understand the return on investment as sponsors. That is why Coca-Cola pumps so much money into big sporting events. I think the last time I checked World Cup, Coca-Cola paid, I think, 40 million or 80 million to have the Coca-Cola logo in the center of the... They know what it does. I had a sponsor who sponsored me for 1 year, and the next year I went like, oh, are you going to sponsor me? Funny enough, they're an apple company. They produce apples, like farm apples. And the owner was like, why won't we sponsor you? Do you know how much money we made out of you last time? You get it? So athletes and sports people have to have the right management around them. You got to have your family also backing you and understanding what you're trying to achieve. With the right manager who is not there to fleece you of money, you can move forward because they'll point you in the right direction. Let's do this, let's do that. And I think sports people have to add a bit of education to what they are doing. So you can stand in front of a government body and you can say what you have to say. You get it?
Yeah. So Kwame has just shared his story with us. It's been inspiring. It's been educative. I'm sure a lot more people will be inspired to want to get into winter sports. Avail yourself. I'm sure he will want to take you out there, show you what he was able to achieve, and hopefully you can possibly surpass that. The Tracker, obviously, always on Citi TV. Same time next week. We'll see you right here.